What is up, YouTube? That's here, and today I'm going to be slowing things down a bit, bringing you a VGC 2016 game, going up against like 1700 Japanese guy who has Rayquaza, Landorus, Primal Kyogre, and Aegislash. And like I said, we're going to be slowing things down, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be using Trick Room. We're just going to be using Icy Winds with Cresselia. We're going to be using a super bulky Giratina regular form, which is my favorite form. Some of you guys might remember from some of my previous VGC 2016 content back in January. I think Cresselia Groudon is a very, very safe lead. Some people on stream wanted to see me mix it up, so I decided to go back to my VGC 2016 roots. This is what I wanted to run before the Big Six came along. We're going to be pairing it with a Choice Scarf Togekiss and an actual Kangaskhanite on our Kangaskhan this time. We're not going to be using Mental Orb Kang anymore. We're going to be using Kangaskhanite Kangaskhan. I know we're going into that Medikang, but yeah. So we're going to be going up against Ray, Landorus, Primal Groudon, Aegislash. I think I already said that, as we're just going to start things off because this is a pretty long video with a ton of leftovers, a ton of endgame animations, or end-turn animations. Should be really fun to watch, and a bunch of things to actually learn from this video, because this is the way I wanted to play the format. Super slow, methodical, you take full turns, you're not really necessarily timer stalling people, but you definitely have that option. And what I really like about this lead is that even if they want to go for like multiple taunts and stuff like that, it doesn't really break you because you're not really going for Trick Room. So we're going to see first turn Landorus, Rayquaza. This guy has a super aggressive turn 1. These things can both hit like a truck. Landorus can be physical or special. We can go for those big knockoffs. And Rayquaza obviously doesn't need any introduction. It goes for those huge Dragon's Ascents. Usually they pack a Life Orb as well. So we're going to try to avoid some of that first turn. We're going to go for a Protect with Giratina as we block a Dragon's Ascent and block a potential HP Ice from Landorus. I mean, it could be HP Dragon, but we know it's HP Ice. I mean, I guess if he's 5 IV, it is HP Dark, which would still be super effective on Giratina, but that is very bad. Anyways, we get that Icy Wind off. Remember, Rayquaza's Delta Stream is going to cut that damage in half because both of his Pokemon are Flying type. As we're going to see Rayquaza switch out, not really wanting to eat an attack from Groudon potentially. I think it's a very safe play to do that. Goes into Aegislash here. As we go for a Toxic on Landorus, remember Icy Wind did lower its speed, so that means Cresselia is faster. We go for a very fast Toxic and a Will-O-Wisp on the switch into Aegislash. So this is pretty much what I wanted to do this format. You put statuses up on both of your opponent's Pokemon, and then you pretty much use Protects, recovery moves, Shadow Forces to pretty much elongate the game and pretty much just grind your opponent out. It's a very control-y way to play the game. It's very susceptible to multiple switches, and if your opponent plays correctly, you know, if they know what you're doing from the very start, there's a good way for them to play around it, because if they know that you're playing super control and they just try to rush things down, like this combo right here is very dependent on Cresselia. It makes it look like Giratina is the main threat, but if you destroy my Cresselia, I can no longer Icy Wind, and then it's really hard for me to keep that control. So if you use U-turns like this guy's doing and start chunking my Cresselia, once you get that thing off the board, it's just really hard for me to keep that speed control, I guess. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I know I'm being very, very repetitive, but you can see how this guy knows what my plan is, and he's definitely doing the exact counter strategy that you need to do to stop this type of team. So he's going to stance change with his Aegislash, and this turn the Giratina bait was just too much. He's going for a Shadow Ball and Giratina. It would have definitely sucked if he Shadow Balled my Cresselia that turn. Luckily for me, he didn't, as Giratina's leftovers synergize very well with its multiple uses of Protect and Shadow Force. That's pretty much why I like this Giratina form over the Origin form, just because of the leftovers restore so much health. So he's going to go for a Dragon's Ascent. He is targeting my Cresselia, who I originally said was the target you want to target here, but this is a full defense Cresselia. I do live with 38 HP, and that's going to be very, very good for me. I'm going to be able to live for a couple more turns, hopefully. As we see, he takes out some damage from Life Orb. We go for an Icy Wind here. Remember, he did cut his defensive stats with that Dragon's Ascent, but his Delta Stream is going to be able to mitigate most of that damage. So we see I get double speed drop, super cool stuff. And this, I think, is where I do a pretty cool turn. Yeah, this is where the real Giratina strat comes out. We're popping a double team with Giratina. And now, instead of like Cresselia being the main uh, Pokemon in this strategy, Giratina has now just commanded complete field dominance. It's like, you need to take me out immediately, or else I'm going to Will-O-Wisp all your Pokemon and you're just going to lose the game. And that's the perfect game that I want to play in VGC 2016. Like, that super grindy game where I guess hacks are a part of it, but like this double team isn't as much to try to avoid damage. It's mainly just there, see, because I pair it with protect. It's mainly just there to say, hey, you need to like completely focus all your stuff in onto my Giratina, otherwise I'm gonna win the game. So he doesn't take the bait that turn. He goes for the E-Speed on the Cresselia. I think that barely KO'd, but he is Life Orb, so it's justified that he got the KO. I restore a lot more HP with my leftovers. I've probably gotten a lot. How much HP have I really gotten off leftovers already? Probably about 30% at least. And we see my opposing Aegislash also has leftovers, but he is burned. So, I mean, I'm eventually going to be able to take him out. I realize that I can take the Aegislash out whenever I really want with a Shadow Force. I haven't even really used Shadow Force yet because I don't have to. So we're going to see Kangaskhan finally come in. I'm actually going to be able to Mega Evolve this game. No Mental Orb for me. And if you guys thought in the last video that Mental Orb Kangaskhan was pretty strong, well, Mega Kangaskhan's a lot stronger than that one. So he's going to go for the Protect with his Mega Rayquaza, blocks my Double Edge, which is the right play, and I just pop a Shadow Force here because I'm assuming he's probably going to start targeting my Giratina with the Aegislash. Note that he hasn't really King Shielded in a while. He's just staying in offensive stance. We're both restoring more health here, and remember, I do have a double team, which means the longer this game goes, the more Pokemon I can grind out with Giratina. Once I get into like a one-on-one situation, if that's even a possibility, there's almost no way another Pokemon is going to be able to beat my Giratina because I have the access to evasion boosting moves. So he goes for the King Shield. I think he thought I was going to go for a Sucker Punch and then like a Shadow Force on the Rayquaza slot because Giratina is faster than Rayquaza at this point. I decided just to target the Rayquaza down and actually just Shadow Force the Aegislash. This was my original intended targets here. And remember that Shadow Force will actually break through King Shield, and I don't get the attack drop. I just break through it, do that super effective damage, and note that he still lives, but that's because early on in the game I was intimidated by Landorus, and this is an origin form, so I don't get the boost to Shadow Force. So it's completely understandable that this thing does live, but he is still going to tick down from burn. So Giratina is in a very, very good spot now. And you have to remember his last two Pokemon are going to be Landorus and the Primal Kyogre. So I still have these two and Togekiss left. Yeah, Cresselia is the only one of mine that has fainted. As we see the poisoned half HP special attacker Landorus come back in, get a second Intimidate up onto my Giratina, and Solo Intimidate onto Kang. And Primal Kyogre is going to activate. But I do think I'm in a very, very good spot now. I have a Choice Scarf Togekiss in the back. I have a relatively full HP Kangaskhan, and I have my Giratina who's sitting pretty, full HP specialty with a evasion boost to boot. So right off the bat, we're just going to protect here. I don't have to fight any of these Pokemon if I don't really want to. The more we protect, the more we elongate the game, the more Landorus is going to tick out, and if we take out Kyogre, we should be able to just win. So we block an Earth Power, we dodged an Ice Beam. I forgot to mention that. We dodged an Ice Beam with Kyogre. Double Team is putting in work as we go for a Will-O-Wisp. I don't know really why, maybe someone in the comments can answer this, but you can use Will-O-Wisp in the rain. I know that you can, I've done it a million times before. It's a fire attack, but I don't really know why you can use it in the rain. I think that's kind of weird. Maybe it's because it's not doing damage, but you can use Will-O-Wisp in the rain. I Will-O-Wisp the Kyogre. Now both his Pokemon are on timers, and it pretty much just seals my game right here. He goes for an Origin Pulse, does a ton of damage to both my Pokemon, and he also goes for the Hidden Power Nuke onto my Giratina, but I'm just too bulky. I mean, I'm super bulky, and there's just no way my opponent can really come back from this. He would have had to go for the Nuke on Kangaskhan, I think. Because Kangaskhan Double Edge, even though I'm intimidated, just does a massive amount of damage to that Kyogre, drops it low enough to where Burn will take it out, and it gets even worse because Giratina Shadow Forces, and this is like the worst situation for an opponent to feel like, because both his Pokemon are on timers. He's like, I'm toxic, I'm burned, I'm ticking out, and I can't even hit him next turn. Oh, this is so annoying. But Kyogre is going to tick out, and it's kind of funny. We're not even going to give him the satisfaction of ticking out, because maybe he feels like, whatever, I'm just going to play it out, but We're going to send out Togekiss here, and remember this is a Choice Scarf Togekiss, so we're just going to BM him like a little bit more. Just bam, Choice Scarf Dazzling Gleam right to the face. We're not even going to need Giratina to finish this one off. So pretty cool game. I mean, I guess it's a pretty good game showing how I would fight against Ray Ogre, because Ray Ogre, which is what this team is very popular right now as a check to the Big Six, and I just really feel comfortable playing with Cresselia Giratina. It has a ton of options. Giratina is a Pokemon that can do almost anything. It can set up Tailwinds, it can use Pain Split, it can be that Origin form if you want to go for the Levitates or just a massive amount of damage with like a really strong Shadow Force. It's probably one of my favorite Pokemon in VGC 2016, and I really like playing with Cresselia Giratina as a lead. So thank you guys for watching this game. Let me know what you guys think about this type of playstyle in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.